this. I was in the middle of filming this and got interrupted by the bell. So it's probably gonna ring in the middle of it. My bad. But we're still gonna go through it. So I'm gonna start out with a little bit of review of a perpendicular bisector because you're gonna need that. Nice thing is for you, I already drew it on these two. So you're gonna do 1 and 2 and then check in with me before you move on. So just going to review what it means to have a perpendicular bisector, and I'm going to pick a point off of these. So let's call this E and F. And you remember, if I want a perpendicular bisector through those points, first thing I got to do is draw some sort of radius and figure out what these points are. After that, I can easily pick some other radius because I want to bisect the middle. But the whole point of a bisector is you need to have 2 points. So typically we would draw 2 arcs here, but I already know 1 point. So I can just go on ahead and draw it straight through. And that gives me a right angle right there. So same thing for the other one. When I have point F, I'm going to draw some sort of radius. We'll put it here and here. Then I pick some other sort of radius. We'll go with this one. It's got to go through point F. So I'll draw it straight through point F. And there's my right angle. So the reason this is important is because when we go to do these guys, what has to happen is similar to the parallelogram. It's a little bit easier to manipulate the height of a triangle for a rectangle because the rectangle needs the right angle. So we need to have we need to have a right angle. And it also is a little bit easier to look at the height. So for parallelograms, if you want to take a triangle and make it equal area to a parallelogram, it's typically a little bit easier to manipulate the base. If you're trying to manipulate a triangle to be a rectangle, it's easier to get rid of the base, and then we think about this height. So if I have 1 half of the height equals the height, I need half that height of the triangle to be equal to the height of the rectangle, which means I need to bisect the height. But to bisect the height of a triangle, I need the altitude. So sometimes, for instance, with a right triangle, it's easy because the height is the altitude, whereas sometimes we'll actually fully have to go through and draw the height of the triangle. So if I look at this, notice they've drawn this perpendicular bisector for you. That's because the perpendicular bisector is the altitude of the triangle through the vertex point up here. So the first thing I need to do on the back is I need to draw the altitude, and it's got to go through this point A. So I'm going to take point A, put my compass there, and then draw some sort of radius that goes through the bottom. So when I do this, maybe make it a little bit longer. I'm going to draw it just like that. So then I have these points here. And what I'm going to do is I take my compass and I'm going to go through here and I'm going to go through here. And I don't need to draw any more points because I actually just need to connect it up to A. And there's my right angle. So perfect. Now, if you remember, now that I have the height, I needed 1 half of the height because I need 1 half of the height to be equal to the height of the rectangle. So I need to bisect this here. So I'm going to go from the bottom, which is here. Draw that point. Bisect that, make it a little bit smaller because I don't have 2 points to draw it through here. And then I'm going to bisect the center. And there is the center of my height. So now that I have half of the height, I need to copy the base. I'm actually going to make this a little bit longer. So the only way that I can copy the base right now is notice the base is kind of split up into 2 pieces. So I'm going to copy this base first because I need the full base, and I can't copy the full base yet because I need to base it off this point right here. So I'm going to copy this base first right here. So put my compass here and put the center here. And I'm going to arc. And I'm going to go ahead and name that point. I'll call it Y. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Copy. We'll call this Z. So then I just connect these. And the reason we manipulate the height as well is because it's easy to say all of these are right angles, because I've drawn them so that they're equal in length to this guy, which is also the right angle. So then this is the right angle, this is the right angle, this is the right angle, this is the right angle. And then I have YZCB is my rectangle. Now, the nice thing for the right triangle is I can actually just see the height right here. So there's no reason to draw the perpendicular bisector because that is my right angle. So then I can just jump straight into bisecting it. Make it a little bit longer. And then I can bisect it straight through. Great. And now all I have to do is copy the base from this point here. So I'll copy this base straight forward. And then I have this guy right here. And this is point D. And so there I have my rectangle, A, B, C, D. We'll call this Z, B, Z, D, C. There we go. Now, if I want to do an obtuse, notice that if I draw the altitude down, it's going to be on the outside. So what I have to do is extend this line out. And then I'm just going to do the same thing I've been doing. Pick some radius. We'll draw it like this. Kind of hard to see, but here's the first point, here's the second point, and then I'm going to bisect that. And I, again, only need one arc because I already have the point through the top. And then I'm going to bisect this so that that point is there. I'm going to draw straight through. There's my right angle. Okay. So now that I have that height, I have to bisect it. I'm actually going to bisect it over here just so I have a little bit more space. But I'm going to take this point. Actually, I'll do it over here. And I need 2 points because again, I'm dealing with, there's one, make it a little bit smaller. There's 2. I'm going to draw it straight through there and I'm going to make it a little bit longer because I have to copy the rest of my base on there. I'll extend it out a little bit more. And now the nice thing is here, I actually have to do a little bit of subtraction because this is the base I want and I can't just copy. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this segment here. So I know where I'm going from. So I'm copying that segment. I'm going to put it up here. And then I'm going to copy this segment. And now it's easy for me to see, okay, I'm going to draw my line straight down from here, straight down from here. And there's my rectangle. And we'll call these points F, E. So it's B, F, E, C. And there's my required rectangle. Great. So that would be how I do rectangles equal in area to triangles. So just to summarize, parallelograms, we typically